After spending the last week traveling along the south coast of New South Wales, we have finally made it to Sydney, and today we're going to be fully exploring the city and we are so excited. So Sydney seems to be one of the hardest cities to navigate with our van, so we've checked into the NRMA Sydney Lakeside Holiday Park, which is one of the closest caravan parks, and we're going to explore the whole city by public transport. The caravan park is actually pretty nice. We're in Narrabeen, right on the Narrabeen Lagoon and on the coast, so very happy here.
This caravan park is actually half reasonably priced, especially in today's standards and for the close proximity to the city. I think it costs us about just under $100. I'll put right here what it was for 2 nights.
We're holding on for dear life. This ferry is bloody fast.
We just took the ferry from Manly to the city. While that ferry is really part of people's daily commute, it's part of the public transport system, it's actually a really beautiful way to see the city. We came on, I think it was one of the first ferries in the morning, so we came over at sunrise and got to see the Harbour Bridge and the Opera House and the city as we were coming in, and it was just beautiful, a really amazing way to start the day.
I also felt very sorry for all the kayakers and
Yes.
canoers, because the boat literally went like right past people, like within meters of them, and then like the waves off the boat just like
I felt
completely just like made them go,
because
whoa,
I saw
whoa.
some of the kayaks veer towards it, so I reckon it's fun
They
for
probably,
them.
yeah, they probably use it to get like a little speed.
So we're going to be using public transport the whole day to get ourselves around the city. And the public transport system in Sydney is actually really easy to use. You don't have to have their special Opal card or anything. You can just tap on with your bank card. So that's been really easy to use. They also have a daily cap, and that includes all of the ferries, buses, trains, kind of everything. And because we're traveling on a weekday, the daily cap I think is $17.80. And then if we were traveling on the weekend, which includes Friday, so include Friday, Saturday, Sunday and public holidays, that daily cap I think is $8.90. So it's actually pretty affordable, especially because something like the ferry is almost like a scenic special experience in itself.
Of course, the first place that we had to drop by was the Sydney Opera House.
This is the most like iconic attraction. This and the Harbour Bridge are the two main iconic attractions in Sydney.
And Australia, I'd say.
Yeah, you're right. I feel like if you search up Australia, you either see a picture of the Harbour Bridge or the Opera House.
Yeah.
So this building is probably very recognisable to all of the Australians and probably some non-Australians too.
Especially those that have watched Finding Nemo.
Oh.
Speaking for myself here, because Lydia's obviously seen the Opera House in person previously, but it's a lot more slender and like longer than I thought it would be. And on the surface, it's also a lot more textured than what I thought it would be. It almost looks like it's like a bathroom tile that's very popular nowadays, like the Harrowbone. I don't know what to call it. And then like these like little grooves here, I thought they would be windows, but it's actually, it seems like it's some like copper channels that have oxidized now. It's actually pretty cool.
It is a really cool building. Like Sydney is just beautiful. Like the city is so beautiful. But I thought I should add a fun fact that the design for the Opera House was actually put out as a competition in, I think it was the 1950s.
Yeah.
And I think it was 233 designs were submitted. And the person who won it was a Danish architect.
It's one of those buildings that kind of will be timeless, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And it also surprises me how young the building is as well. Like I thought it would be like 1800s or like
You thought it'd be super old.
maybe early 1900s, but it's actually like
Quite a modern
yeah,
building.
it's like 1950s, 60s, something like that.
And for anyone who doesn't know, the Opera House is like a major performing arts centre. So they have like huge events here. I think they have like the Sydney Orchestra and the ballet and everything. And I think my mom's coming to see a show here at the end of the year. So it's a really cool place for events. If you can attend one, I would say definitely do it.
I also just wanted to add that it's actually a pretty bold design because it's got random bits that jolt out. But not only that, the top is very curvy and then the bottom's quite rectangular and like sharp and whatnot. So it's yeah, very interesting. Right next to us is the Sydney Harbour Bridge.
Literally opposite to the Sydney Opera House.
And they had a design competition for it, just like with the Opera House, but didn't end up going with the design.
Apparently they designed this single arch bridge based on New York City's Hell Gate Bridge. And I had absolutely no idea until we started looking into the background of the bridge.
Yeah.
And when you see them side by side, it is so clear.
They look pretty much identical.
It's really cool. The bridge is just beautiful and it's in such an amazing spot.
Yeah.
Sydney is actually the one city that I had been to prior to our lap. My mom and I came here about 10 years ago. And if you didn't know, you can actually climb the bridge. And my mom and I did that 10 years ago. And it was really cool. I think it's super expensive. And because I've already done it, we decided not to do it today. But it does provide a pretty cool perspective over the bridge.
That, and we have a pretty packed day today, so
we probably wouldn't have time.
Not only is this harbour and wharf area cool to come to because of the Opera House and also the views of the Sydney Harbour Bridge, it also is right next to the Botanic Gardens, so we're going to go check that out now. Sydney is a very advanced city, and you can tell that by walking in the Botanic Garden and seeing that they have robot lawnmowers.
I feel like that's what Bian's been most excited about today.
But not only that, they're all-wheel drive lawnmowers.
This is what I have to deal with. Bian always points out and notices the weirdest things. I love that they even included the ants around the echidna.
I didn't see that.
I think we've been to Botanic Gardens in every single city we have been in, and it is always like the hidden gem of that city. It's the most beautiful, peaceful, amazing place just to wander around for an hour and take everything in. And fun fact about this one, it's actually the oldest in Australia and the second oldest in the Southern Hemisphere.
It's quite funny that we're walking so much today because not so long ago we did a couple of hikes, strenuous hikes.
Literally like 2 days ago.
And both of our calves hurt so much, and like everyone's probably looking at us like limping and like going downstairs. It's like horrifying because I'm like,
our city exploring videos are always when we do the most walking because we go everywhere on foot because you get to see more.
Yeah.
And I feel like our legs are going to be dead by the end of today.
Yeah, I think we've already done like
just under 10 kilometers.
Yeah.
Already.
And we just started pretty much.
Struggling a bit. You look like a crab.
You know, about a month or so ago, there was like breaking news all over the place where there's been asbestos found in mulch that has been spread at multiple schools and parks. And I didn't realize that was actually Sydney. But it turns out that the park that we wanted to visit and sit at that lovely little lonesome bench
has asbestos.
may contain asbestos. So We'll see if there's another bench close by that we can sit at and admire the view. So we finally found a spot that is not blocked off.
Hopefully asbestos free.
Hopefully. If you have a look in the background,
Someone.
there, in between us, it's a little blown out. There's the bridge. How exciting is that?
Yeah, we're at the Observatory Hill Lookout Park thing, and the view is just beautiful. It's really nice. And the benches that they normally have would be in like the perfect spots.
Yeah.
But sadly, they're all blocked off. We were dying for lunch. It was getting hot. We were knackered, and we needed a bite to eat.
Yep.
And Australia is so multicultural. There are so many different cultures of food around here, and we're going to disappoint you all and say that we went to Coles. I feel like in the city videos we always try eat somewhere nice, but we were just like, we need something quick to eat, we can't be bothered, we're just going to go grab something quick.
I feel like it'll be something that's a little bit more prevalent in our videos once we do international travels, but it's kind of weird going exploring your own country that you grew up in, and it's like nothing's new to try. So it's kind of difficult.
Like I said, Australia is so multicultural that it doesn't really have its own unique dishes. Apart from Bunnings, snags,
Lamingtons,
pies.
Pies.
So we've got some very Australian things.
I tried. Lydia obviously
sushi.
did not.
The Coles there, because it's in the city, they have like huge display of lunch options. Like they have
grab
cold
and
stuff,
go,
like
quick, easy, convenient.
Sushis, Vietnamese rolls,
sandwiches,
wraps, and then they have
salads.
a hot food section with like
chicken nuggies, chips,
like
whatever.
they had loads, and I really wanted sushi, and it says gluten-free, and they've got gluten-free soy sauce and everything, so I was like, I have to go with sushi. I haven't had sushi in so long.
Arnott's recently, like a couple months ago, started producing gluten-free Tim Tams.
We've had them before, and they're actually pretty good.
They are, and I was gonna say they're quite a bit more expensive, but I feel like Tim Tams are really expensive now in any case, and it's pretty much the same price. But then,
oh no, this is so bad.
I also saw this in the news, like the asbestos, but they have two really, really odd variations of hot cross buns at Coles for Easter this year. One of them is Vegemite, and the other one is Shapes Pizza.
Barbecue?
I think it's a pizza.
Oh
pizza flavoring. And I was gonna go for the Shapes, but it just looks vile and nasty. We took a quick clip of it.
Please let us know if you've tried them and you think they're good. I told Vian, I was like, they look way too gross. You cannot have that.
I'm really genuinely intrigued to see whether it's like a hot cross bun consistency, like flour or whatever.
Go for it. Oh, so did we say Vegemite?
Yeah, it's Vegemite.
Classic Australian.
Vegemite and cheese. I don't think I've ever seen sushi rolls so cute and little.
Wait, really?
Yeah. Have you?
I couldn't believe the teriyaki was gluten-free.
You want to sniff it?
Yeah.
It smells like hot cross buns, actually.
It's weirdly sweet smelling.
Yeah, it smells like hot cross buns. I am... I'm slightly worried.
Oh, I get the cheese and the Vegemite, but it's kind of sweet smelling.
It smells like hot cross buns. Like plain hot cross buns.
You're gonna regret that.
I'm
also,
going to
I don't have
regret
any
this.
chopsticks or anything, so I want to watch you take a bite. Oh my gosh, we should have brought wipes or something. You're just gonna smash it like that.
Well,
it kind of looks
It doesn't really have the cross on it, and it's also not really in like a quarter.
You should have got a backup just in case. I'm gonna eat a piece. Yeah. There's like...
It looks plain. It has nothing.
Oh no. I hope you don't
It barely
regret
has
this.
any Vegemite in it.
I think it's just on it. Or flavoured.
The Vegemite flavor is like a slight hint of Vegemite. It's like barely anything. And you don't taste any
not really.
cheese.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's just like eating a bun.
It's like eating a plain sandwich bun.
Oh, that's
like
so
a
sad.
sandwich bun. Like, you know, the cheap rolls
Oh my
that they have.
gosh.
With a slight hint of Vegemite. So, I mean...
Not recommended.
I mean,
Maybe
it's
if
just
you
a bad
put
batch.
stuff in it, like maybe if you cut it open
and put
put
Vegemite.
Vegemite and cheese, and then like toast it, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
I guess we'll eat and we'll come back. Back on the ferry. On the ferry again, off to Cockatoo Island. Beautiful views there. Also, look at how big this cruise is behind Bjorn's head.
Start compared to the size of my head because it will probably be very similar. It's definitely like such a life hack to just use the regular transport ferries to like explore the harbour, because you can do cruises, but they're very, very, very pricey, and I mean, this is equally, if not better, of an experience because you can pick where you want to go and how long you want to stay.
We just got off the ferry. Where are we, Bjorn?
We are on Cockatoo Island, which is a pretty nice cruise.
The ferry was so
from
nice.
The Circular Quay. It was so nice. We got onto one of the more newer ones and it was just so smooth and quiet, but it's boiling today.
It's so hot. There is not a single cloud in the sky.
Yeah, and we have had to reapply our sunscreen.
Yeah, it's quite funny because we have the clearest sky ever, the most beautiful day. And after this, I think there's a whole week of like storms and heavy rain just when we're meant to be heading to the Blue Mountains. So I think we're gonna have to lurk around the Blue Mountains and wait for good weather. So while we've got a nice shady spot, I thought I should explain Cockatoo Island. So before European settlers came over, the local First Nations people actually used to use this island as a meeting place, and they would call it Warriama. Then the European settlers came in and they used it for a few different things. So for a period of time, they used it as a convict jail, they used it as a shipbuilding and repair facility, and they used it for educational institutions. Now, today it is not used for any of these things. It's actually like a tourism spot. So a lot of people come over on the ferry, which was beautiful, and explore the island. There's a lot of the old buildings, a lot of the shipbuilding facilities, and the building for the convict jail here, so you get to check out all of those. And then if you are keen, you can actually camp and spend the night here, which looks like it would be really cool to have the island pretty much all to yourself at night. But we're just checking it out for a couple of hours. We're gonna have a walk around and see what there is.
I feel like this is such a deja vu moment. When my parents visited us in Tasmania, we did the Golden River cruise, and we actually went to Sarah's Island. I think it's Sarah's Island, which was a convict island that they used for shipbuilding, more specifically like Huon pine ships. But it is pretty interesting that they pretty much did the same things. But this island looks a lot more developed, so it's pretty interesting to see the contrast between the two. So we've come to this little vantage point and we found the docks and the docking area, and it's quite funny because you would expect this to be empty or like have like a showboat or like, I don't know,
I
like
thought
some
they'd be like
old
ruins.
boats. Yeah, like ruins or something. But no, there's regular cruise boats, and I'm guessing people's private boats. And it's quite funny because like we looked initially and we're like, available for charter, party, function, wedding, seminar, conference, anniversary.
We were like, what?
Huh?
So they're still using it, which
Yeah.
I guess is good not to leave it to waste.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah.
It's pretty funny though.
But the views behind are beautiful. Look at the city behind you.
It doesn't feel like we're on an island because it's
Right?
so close to like,
It feels close.
yeah. And
Because
then
all the
also-
houses behind, and then you can see the city way off.
Yeah. It's cool though. I felt like in so many places that I read online that people said that Sydney is quite an old city with old buildings and whatnot, but I feel like it's actually got a very good balance between modern buildings and old heritage buildings. And I mean, this building was built in the 1800s, and I remember when we were doing when we did the cruise in Tasmania, the tour guide said that the quality and craftsmanship of the convicts, which they built probably majority of the buildings back in the day, was second to none, because when someone's being whipped and lashed and whatever, they're bound to do a better job than someone who's getting paid and doing it out of their own will. Decided to come and check out the falls. Look at that! Look at the cliffs!
Sunset's fine.
What would you do if there's just like a stingray or a shark in here?
Stop. Don't get me scared.
There's probably crabs in here. So it's the next day now. We got a little distracted swimming at the ocean pools, which were pretty cool, I'd say.
It was so cool. If you didn't know, New South Wales has ocean pools all along the coast. I think they have the most of any other state for a protected swim, and it was a really nice swim.
Yeah.
And the city yesterday was just beautiful. Sydney's a beautiful city, and I think because we went on a weekday, we expected it to be super busy and hectic.
Yeah.
But it still had a really chilled vibe, at least the spots we went, right?
Yeah. And I'd say it's a pretty big bucket list item, seeing all those iconic places and attractions and buildings and whatnot.
Yeah, for sure. It was really cool, but we've woken up late. We've got to shower, top up our water, do all the things before we have to check out. And we'll see you in the next video.
Yeah, when we head to the Blue Mountains.
See you at the Blue Mountains. Bye.